So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast here with Weatherworn. We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. So what inspired you guys to start the band, and what does the band name mean?
I started the project as a solo project in 2018. I had just came out of the band, but wanted to keep the momentum going. So, picked up acoustic, kept writing, got into the studio. Always intended for it to be a full band. So, recorded the first album and then recruited people as much as possible just so we could continue on as a full band. As far as the band name goes, had about 15 different variations. Weatherworn is the only one that did pop up in a Google search as a band name. So,
Oh, okay.
What were
Perfect.
those?
throw that one out. So,
What were some of the other band names you had then?
oh man, Dial Tone at one point.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I'm glad I did there. My Patron Saint, I think, that ended up becoming something for a song title later on.
Prior engagement.
Prior engagements.
Yeah.
That's a cool one.
A lot of these songs actually were from a solo project called Prior Engagements that I ended up reusing when it was time to go solo again. So Prior Engagements was a band name as well.
Solid. All right, sick. So you have a couple singles. You have one, You Had Me at Hello, and Head in Hands, which is coming out soon. How do you feel about the response to the first one so far? And how do you feel about the response to Head in Hands, since at the time of recording, it isn't out yet?
Personally, I think the response for You Had Me at a Low was really well, considering I just joined the band here like about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The response is pretty well. A lot of people that we know personally really dig it. And I think Head in Hands is going to do a lot better, considering that there's going to be a music video tied along with it. So I think it pushed that release a little bit more.
Definitely.
All right.
How do you guys feel?
First time that we could really mess around with dual vocals, the fullest capacity. Dylan and I have been singing together for probably about 3 years on and off at this point. So it's cool to actually be able to do that as opposed to previously singing over myself, which was kind of flat. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for these couple of singles?
You, bud.
Tend to write a lot of the parts. Luckily have a band that's willing to let me show an idea. And then we just kind of roll off of that, get everyone's feedback, and then go. So
There's a lot of guitar on like Guitar Pro and MIDI files, which drives me absolutely nuts. All I hear is beep, boop, bop, beep, 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 bop, 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 beep, boop, bop. And then once it gets to guitar, it's like, okay, now I hear where this is coming from. Now I hear it. Yeah.
One thing I would add to that, and I think Joey's always modest when he talks about the songwriting process, because I've never been in a musical project where I get handed all of the sheet music to all the parts and it's all written like it's not like written on napkins or anything like that. Like to add what Dylan said of it being on Guitar Pro, like we would actually sit there and listen to the MIDI files. We'd export from that and be entertained by it because it was just a full song. And I was like, dude, why isn't this in like an 8-bit like indie game soundtrack? Like this sounds dope in and of itself, man. So
All right. I like
That's
that.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
So where's your headspace usually while creating just music?
I have no idea. So I
Okay,
actually
that's fair.
working in psychiatric and stuff. Used to have a lot of time with clients, just kind of hanging out and having a lot of time to pass thoughts, either writing down lyrics or writing down a quick chord progression. I think with all of that silence, sometimes it kind of builds up, and then I have like bits and pieces and areas, and then if I've written something, I tend to rewrite my songs a lot, I guess, and not really realize that they all connect. And then after a while, I'll sit down and pull everything together. I don't know. It's interesting.
Actually, we're going to use one of the songs that I wrote for a previous project that never got released on one of these albums, on this album that we're working on. And like, whenever I write things, like I try to look at it from perspective of like, okay, this is a really crappy situation, but I want to put a positive spin on this to give people hope. So like this song that's specifically on there is like, it's about my parents and having them put up with all the music throughout my life and just having my back through all of that, and like how I couldn't have ever done it without them. And like, because of recent events, the song like really means a hell of a lot to me. So it's like really cool to be able to work with it with this band, because I feel like it's going to bring out so much more potential on that track too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what band or artist influences do you think you can hear the most in your music?
Oh man.
So that's actually a tricky question. I'm going to give my 2 cents really quickly, and I know Joey does have some response here. When I joined and I listened to Joey's stuff, he'd already written Still Frames. He already had an album out, and I couldn't really, for the life of me, when I was like trying to write social posts and stuff like that, like I couldn't really pin down like one band. But what I will say though is, in the bio was Weezer, and Dylan really reminded me of how I wish Rivers Cuomo was still singing. And so I think that actually ended up kind of like law of attraction with Dylan joining the band eventually. Like it kind of made sense after a while.
Okay. That's funny though. I didn't hear Weezer at all when I listened through it. So.
Yeah. So I think Joey like gets a lot of influences from My Chemical Romance and Jack's Mannequin.
I'm still very much stuck in the early 2000s.
As you should.
As you should be, yeah.
Try to write, or what I listen that's kind of like recent, it still kind of falls back to what I grew up listening to. I listened to a lot of Green Day growing up. From there, though, My Chemical Romance, Taking Back Sunday, Jack's Mannequin, Senses Fail. I don't know, but then I've also listened to a lot of like kind of random pop stuff from the 2000s that I thought was catchy. I don't know, it's just some random interpretation, but kind of how I've always been writing and adapting. So I don't know. It's a good one.
Okay. All right, so this one should go like super, super fast. I want you to describe your upcoming single in 3 words. Off the top of your head.
Energetic.
As fast as you can.
Energetic, fun, and easy listening.
Easy listen, okay?
We'll make that one word. It's okay.
Yeah, well, exactly. We'll just put it together. It's fine.
Just pour it all together.
Oh, for each of us?
Yeah, each of you.
Man,
You're
You can't just piggyback.
Oh, no.
No cheating around here.
Mm-hmm.
Piano based. Can I use that as 2?
Yeah.
Sure.
Actually, you can say bass. Like it's just
Bass.
Just bass.
Upbeat.
Upbeat.
Positive. That's a new one
Mhm.
All right.
for writing. So
I think it's got energy. I'd say it's hopeful, and I'd say, in a lot of ways it's relevant, to these times. And maybe that wasn't even planned, but I think our music is it actually is relevant for all the stuff that we're kind of all facing right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I liked that. It was good.
Yeah.
I love how we do something that should be quick and we draw it out as long as it possibly.
It's okay. As
That
long as you
happens-
got the words, you
Yeah.
know.
Happens every single time because Glory puts unnecessary pressure on everyone, and they're like, "Oh."
So it's good. It's good.
So, is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while listening through your music?
I really want people, when they listen to this, to be in a space where the music speaks to them. So it doesn't matter if they're happy, sad, or whatever, but if they can get some sort of energy from the song, like, that's the number one, if they can relate to it.
I think one thing for me writing recently, trying to have music that has answers to it, whether it has kind of like a lot of emotion tied to it or a kind of negative aspect, having that resolution. I feel like I'm at that point in my life where no matter how bad a situation is, there's a little bit of good that can come from it. I know from writing either lyrically or music, there's hopefully always that end that's kind of like I was saying, providing an answer or some type of positivity given the current circumstance.
Yeah.
So hoping people can take something away from it that's useful, so to speak.
Man, all right. I like that one. Okay. So we noticed a little bit of a theme going on in a promo picture and in the music video for your upcoming song. You have animal heads. What's up with that? Is that leading up to, is that an album thing? Is that a record thing? Can you tell us about that?
So it was kind of funny how that played out. So obviously there's a pandemic, and we had to shoot inside a building, and our drummer is a very careful cat, as everyone should be with the whole COVID-19 thing. And so we were like, okay, there's a couple ways we can go about it. We can either be wearing our personal protection masks on in the music video to kind of have like a statement like, hey, wear your masks, be safe out there. But, at a certain point when you're consuming something that's entertaining, sometimes you kind of want to escape from that. So to get around it, we were wearing our masks to protect ourselves underneath the animal masks.
Oh my God.
And then, it was hot, and you'll never catch us in one of those animal heads again. But it kind of like snowballed from there. Like we kind of fed off of that into other ideas to build off of it metaphorically. But that's how it started. It was literally just a solution to a problem, and we kind of rolled with it from there.
And I think also like the way it tied into the actual song itself. So like they're like the way you put it to me is there's like this kind of like duality between like innocence and like like those evils, those stressors, whatever. You could tell is better, but like the masks represent like that whatever's trying to take away that innocence. And then in the other scene, we actually perform that inside of a children's like after school center type deal. So like little kids go there, there's like tons of things for them to play around with. Arts and Science Center. So like it ties in with the innocence of like childlike innocence, and like the masks which was performed in a bar, like the total opposite of that spectrum.
Yeah.
And they were all like predatorial animals, right? So like that adulthood sort of stalks you throughout life. You kind of can't like avoid it.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of learn to deal with it. So
you wrote the song.
Yeah,
what do you gotta say?
I think
You've been quiet.
a lot of growing up has always been, like go to school, get a job, find a way to make an income so you can go on to this next step. I think as a musician, or just, I used to skateboard growing up. I always had that kind of other path. And it's like, if you try too much to kind of fit into that mold, sometimes you end up doing it, but then getting very, like, I don't know, it can be depressing. It can be like deteriorating to a sense. So, kind of realizing that, and then deciding you're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Wolf Mask was a little bit of that more corporate spin on things versus, like hanging out in street clothes.
Yeah.
In the music video, just like back and forth.
So there's a huge contrast there for us.
Yeah.
But it's not really related to anything on the album. Like it's not an album idea that's going to be further. It's not really like all the other songs have their own kind of identity.
Okay, that's fair. Because you said it was a bit hot under the mask then.
Oh yeah, it was scorching hot.
So we won't be seeing that on tour.
You might see something. So like, I'm one of those people that like I might bring the mask out for some sort of a stunt every once in a while. We might come back with the masks and just melt them into pieces. You don't know.
Oh, burn them in
right.
your next music video.
That's been discussed actually.
Has it actually?
That was discussed.
Oh my God.
I mean, the faster you kill it off, the less likely the fans are going to ask you to bring it back. So
Exactly.
yeah. So you guys keep on talking about this album. What can you tell us about it? Tell me everything.
Everything.
So we're going to be recording with Will Beasley in Richmond, Virginia. He just recorded with The Dangerous Summer for their track that I don't know if I can say the title of it because it's got the F word in it.
Oh
Nah,
yeah,
you're
you can say it.
Okay, so they did a track called Fuck 'Em All, and they recorded it in the studio that we're going to, and we're gonna record. I think we're trying to get 6 songs done in like 4 days. So we're gonna try to get as much done as we can, and
That's everyone's reaction.
Yeah.
Wait, 6 songs in 4 days.
Yeah. So we're gonna spend the first day doing all drums for 6 songs. The next day is gonna be all bass. Then the day after that's gonna be guitars, and then hopefully we can spend 2 days on vocals. If not, we're gonna come back. Like if we can't finish something, we'll come back. But we're gonna try to finish everything we can, and we're gonna try to put it out. A little later on. Like so, we want to make sure everything's done. We don't want to rush ourselves to get things like we're rushing ourselves to get it done, but we're not trying to rush the release.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to draw it out as long as we can. But it's a very diverse record from the songs that are gonna be on it. It's not a record that you listen to and every song's the same. Like each song definitely has its own identity, has its own concept, and has its own meaning behind it. So it should make for a pretty good record, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah,
Do you guys...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Yeah, a total of 10 songs. I mean, these 2 singles are done. We've got another 6, and then say along the lines of a small instrumental and maybe some acoustic stuff for those last 2. But we'll be a full length again. So happy to say it's going to be the sophomore full length. I never thought it would get to this point, so it's cool.
Solid. Yeah, congrats.
Before we wrap up with the music related questions, I actually just wanted to throw out there that your vocals reminded me of Pensy Prep era Frank Iero. I don't know if you've ever listened to Pensy Prep, but that's the vibe I got.
So the first record was recorded by John DeClario of Not a Recording Studio. He did I Brought You Bullets by Mike M. I didn't know Pensy Prep until I finished the full length because John was telling me all these stories, and I know exactly who you're talking about now.
All right.
Oh my god.
I recorded a bunch of songs with Ace Enders in Jersey before I moved down here. Like I'm originally from New York, and I moved down here several years later. But I never released any of the tracks, and like I was told that my vocals sound a lot like Saves Today, and now I'm hearing total opposite since I moved down here. like so, it's interesting to hear that.
All right, very cool.
Sick. So where do you guys see the band in the next 5 years?
I see us touring and putting out another record.
Solid.
I've been playing in bands since I was 16. I'm 28 now. Needless to say, I don't think I really know anything else other than playing in bands. So I'm hoping this will be the one that just kind of keep running with it and then figure out what happens in 5 years. I'll probably still be doing the same thing in 5 years, honestly. So
Good.
Yeah, honestly, like I told Joey when I joined, like, dude, I'm done when you're done. Like, I feel like bands are kind of like you play in a bunch of bands throughout the year. It's kind of like a dating game. We're freaking married. Right? We're gonna have to sign divorce papers. All right, like that's it. It's. I mean, we clicked really well, and like we want to just work hard and just see like where we can take it.
All right.
Yeah.
So for the last couple of questions, we're actually going to shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Don't forget the drink.
Oof. All right. So I would, if I was on death row, my meal would probably either be chili or something super fancy and super expensive like steak and lobster. And I would definitely have peanut butter whiskey. I don't want to say the name of the brand because I don't know if that's okay.
It doesn't matter, but it just, yeah.
It would be the screwball peanut butter whiskey.
Okay.
That's my favorite drink.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with filet mignon.
Ooh.
Or crab cakes, and drink of choice probably just like a dark beer.
All right.
I can't remember the show that this was from, but I would say the world's rarest mushroom truffle, so that they have to spend so many years trying to find it, and it just buys me more time. Like,
Oh my god.
You nailed it.
That is one of the better answers we've gotten.
Definitely. Do you have a drink to go with that rare truffle eventually when they find it, you know?
Honestly, like I don't know, probably water, just so the electric chair zaps me quicker or something.
Oh my god.
It goes straight. I want to be nice and hydrated, so I just go out like a light.
Of course.
Dried up and fried, so
That went dark.
I want to be nice and tender when they fry.
It's also a big fuck you to them because you made them look for this rare truffle, and then you're like, I want water as my
I just
drink.
want water.
Yeah.
Tap water.
Hydrated. Yeah.
Water with salt in it, please.
Oh, that's so wrong. Oh my god. All right. So, if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
Fallout.
Oh, wait, which one?
Oh man.
There's so many.
My favorite, as far as storyline line goes, would be New Vegas. Like, I love New Vegas, but I think storyline Fallout 3.
Okay. Yeah. New Vegas is my brother's favorite, so I had to ask.
I've literally played every single one. I'm a huge Fallout nerd. I love Fallout. I have Fallout everything in this room. You can't see it, but it is there.
Okay.
Solid.
You know, I have no idea for the fictional world. I have to come back to that one. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, whenever this type of like thinking comes around, I always want to say something like Star Wars or Middle Earth or something like that. But then you realize how like ultimately deadly and dystopian those worlds really are.
Yeah.
A peasant in Middle Earth. So honestly, I would go with Pokemon because that is such a bright. Like, you think about what a magical world, like, you know, like Pokemon, there's no wars, it's just Pokemon battles. It's just, you know, you just train your Pokemon, it's filled with magical creatures, and it's just happy.
Yeah. I like that one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd have to go with Super Mario World. Like, that's classic. Not anything before, not anything after. Just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be good with that, yeah.
So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we have spoken to have said it's the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Boom.
Green?
Purple.
You stole mine, you jerk.
I knew.
Oh my god.
All right, 2 purples, 1 green.
Two
Don't get
purples, 1
hostile. No need.
Purple.
Um,
And that is definitely the most important question.
I knew you were
I
Mhm.
agree.
great minds.
Watch out, next practice, you might all of a sudden just get electrocuted.
Okay.
Make sure you're hydrated.
Yeah, exactly. Stay hydrated.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, we're not going to fight it.
We're Team Purple.
Team Purple, as you
so-
should be.
So as I said, that is all the questions we have today. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Just check us out on our social medias. I mean, we're trying to build a better presence online. We're trying to get more traction to our YouTube page, so keep an eye on that. There's not much on there yet, but it's going to start getting stuff. We're working on stuff to get more stuff on YouTube where I'll be more interested. And yeah, just keep an eye out for shows, live streams, and stuff. Just hit us up on social media.
All right.
Solid.
Well, thank you for sitting down with us, guys. This has been Weatherworn, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.